One of the biggest questions post-Han and pre-Xiao is this the arc where Shin becomes one of the 6 great generals of Qin? Now that we're pretty much at the end of the Conquest of Han arc, I've already seen enough to say that yes, I'm 99% sure that this is the arc where it's going to happen. Why am I so sure that Shin will be the 6th great? And what signs have I seen that make me so hellbent on Xiao being the lead up to this? First of all, let me quickly break down why it's fair to assume that Shin is going to be a great general at some point in the story. The most obvious progression for Shin to reach the pinnacle of the Qin military is to become a great general. In the past, I used to separate the rank of great general from someone that is a part of the 6 greats. Now I think they are synonymous with one another. In other words, Shin will not be promoted to great general unless he is seen as someone worthy of being part of the 6 great generals of Qin. That's just how the current system works. Like Oki and To said in the past, it's not as though people are chosen to fill the system. Rather, great generals already existed that were worthy of making up the system. So with that being said, getting promoted to great general should automatically mean being part of the 6 greats, or else they would just remain general like Shin is now. This is why, trolling aside, Osen is technically still a part of the 6 greats. He was relieved of his duty as commander-in-chief, not as a great general. He'd have to mess up pretty freaking bad for him to be demoted. I think especially with this latest Conquest of Han arc, things have now changed for Shin to fit the criteria of great general. Looking at the definitions that we do have throughout the series, a great general is described as someone possessing the willpower, arm strength, knowledge, and luck of 100. 100 what? 100 people? No, 100 generals combined. Shin fits this criteria on all levels, nearly. The willpower of 100. This is the one that Shin struggled with the least. It is something that he had from the beginning of the story, whether it was pushing on despite losing his brother, bravely leading the defense of Sai after Jukio fell before his very eyes, or dancing with death against Hoken multiple times. The arm strength of 100. I would say this is the next one that Shin was able to attain. His first legendary feat was slaying Rinko of the 4 Heavenly Kings, a proficient fighter in his own right. Then he went on to slay Hoken of Xiao's 3 Great Heavens. The fact that he not only slayed Hoken, but was able to tank blow after blow against him in 3 different wars. And his latest feat, slaying Hakuo Koku of Han's Malefic Stars. Someone who drove back the very man that told Shin he needed the arm strength of 100. Rempa, the luck of 100. This is the latest one that I think Shin has attained. He is one lucky bastard. No one can hate him for it. Rempa said a great general needs that plot armor. Let me bring you guys through the most legendary luck streak of all time. Shin met Sei, the king of Qin, who helped him begin his journey toward great general in the first place. He then met Oki, a living, breathing example of what a great general is. Not only was he mentored by Oki, but he got to see him command firsthand. He then encountered Rempa, the man that made his path to great general that much clearer. He gave him a real, tangible goal. During the Choyo campaign, he happened to run into Ryo of Wei's 7 Fire Dragons. This led to him being promoted to 5,000 man commander. This promotion then gave him an important role in the Western Xiao invasion, which allowed him to encounter Hoken. With a little bit more luck, he survived literal death against Hoken and was promoted to general, with this as his crowning achievement. It is safe to say that Shin possesses the luck of 100. And y'all can't be mad. Osen somehow did not lose his life against Shibisho despite losing nearly every general. Roboku somehow did not lose his life against Kanki despite having a blade only centimeters from his face. Heck, he did get slashed and he lived. To jumped off a tall ass castle while catching Princess Nei mid-air, and both of them lived. Y'all can't ever complain about Shin's plot armor ever again. Don't even call it plot armor. It's the luck of 100 that Rempa said great generals need. There we have it. I don't want to hear it from y'all anymore. Finally, the knowledge of 100. This is the one that I think Shin has nearly attained, but not quite yet. The main reason is because to gain the knowledge of 100 is to gain the experience of 100. Everyone naturally compares Shin to the great generals we love most. That's fair. Oki, Rempa, Osen. We just have to remember these are guys that are or were in their 40s or 50s during their prime. That is infinitely more time to gain knowledge and experience than Shin. Despite that fact, I still think Shin is nearly there. Despite that fact, like To, I also think that Shin has performed far beyond what anyone imagined. For a servant that never had any formal education to come this far is nothing short of inspiring. All the times that he used instincts, or I like to call it intuition, contributed to that knowledge. Or like I I said, experience of 100. Instinct insinuates something innate. Intuition is honed through experience. Sounds a lot like Shin, right? A lot of the moves that he makes is based on what he has already seen. That's why he was able to use a Jukyo-esque move against Roboku. Even his work in Nanyo contributed to that knowledge or experience of 100. All the battles he's been in, all the internal disputes he's been a part of, but is at 99%. It doesn't matter that it's more impressive that Shin did all of this, starting out as a slave. Still, a feat is a feat. A criteria is a criteria. The knowledge of 100, to attain that, Shin, like To said, must defeat Roboku. The man that he met at the beginning of his career is someone that he must defeat to see its end. How poetic. All of his experience comes down to his last encounter with Roboku. To put it simply, Roboku slayed Oki, who clearly possessed the knowledge of 100. Once Shin defeats him, he will have not only surpassed Oki, which was the requirement to slay Roboku, but he would have also attained the knowledge of 100. Or like I said earlier, I like to call it the experience of 100. He would have, think about it like this, do what Kyo couldn't, overcome that 100th battle. I don't think everyone gets it, but the 100 battles for being a great general that Kyo set to Oki doesn't have to necessarily be a numerical goal. It's more a figure of speech to represent that final hump, to see if one will become a great general of the heavens. If one has truly attained the willpower, arm strength, knowledge, and luck of 100. So with this victory over Roboku, Shin will have overcome that final hump and been promoted to Great General. That is the same thing as saying he will be the 6th of Shin's 6 greats. Another reason I believe these are the same is that the scenario in which the 6 great generals don't exist anymore is possible. When Shin becomes a great general, Ohon and Moten could very well be too. But I think that'll mean they reached a level beyond the past 2 generations. If you made it to the end, thank you for tuning in. Let me know who you guys think will be the 6th of Shin's 6 great generals in the comment section below. Also, it would mean a lot to me if you guys left a like, share this video with a friend, and subscribe for more videos like this.